And now we are letting go into the whole body, and from the body. Whole body below your neck, torso, chest and belly. Filling the body with pure subjectivity and putting it in the state of complete rest. We thought of giving you certain perspective. There is much suffering in human existence. And those who are more evolved, more conscious, and more sensitive feel it stronger and deeper. It is that suffering, its presence, and the longing to be free from it, that was the main motivation of the greatest and most fascinating quest of the human mind for spiritual enlightenment. Initially, it was not about wanting to be whole, because the first instinct is to stop suffering. Growing into wholeness is a further development in evolution. And this is how many traditions of enlightenment, usually initiated by some founders, came into existence. We are aware of that quest beginning a few thousand years ago, which is long time ago, and yet not so long. It's relative. Yes, that search for spiritual enlightenment was quite extraordinary. Where one was no longer satisfied with religions, with beliefs, because they do not free you from suffering. They just help you to cope with it. And in that quest for enlightenment, there were many extraordinary discoveries, such as that there is such a thing as consciousness beyond the mind. In fact, that was the main thing, consciousness beyond the mind. Not clearly defined, but still, its presence was somewhat acknowledged, such a possibility. But around that quest for enlightenment, many conclusions were drawn, somehow connected to different philosophies created around it. That were not entirely true, and that are still not entirely true. And some are simply false. There is a point in our journey to understanding that the mind somehow disaligns itself from reality, becomes too abstract, too linear. So the understanding becomes more mind-based rather than reality-based. This can be seen quite often. The traditions which somehow dived the deepest into the science of enlightenment, they had, even though they were diverse, there were several of them, major ones, they had a similar very similar notions about existence, as if all of them originated from the same source, which they probably did, such as India. In these traditions, we can find several paradigms that are at the base of the perception of reality. There are some variations, but more or less they are similar. The world is an illusion, or samsara, place of suffering, endless incarnations or reincarnations, and all of them are painful. Basically, existence, as we know it, is suffering. Ego, or the sense of separate self, is equivalent to ignorance. A type of misperception with which we identify and which keeps us in that state of suffering and ignorance. Desires are our shackles, because attachments to the objects that we desire create suffering. Emotions are painful too, because they are connected to these desires. Desires are not just from the mind, they are emotional, mostly. Our body is impermanent, is nothing but a prison. There is no individuality. Sense of individuality is ignorance. It's all basically ignorance. As they say in Buddhism, ignorance has no beginning in their sophisticated contemplations. They came to that conclusion, but has an end, and that end is awakening and liberation from ignorance. And then the options that remain are because different traditions present different outcomes, such as becoming consciousness that is all, that is one consciousness, realizing nirvana, emptiness, no self. Or perhaps complete unification with God. So more or less these are the models of spiritual models behind that science of enlightenment. Practically, what it means is that someone who manages to access state beyond the mind, such as consciousness. Sometimes it's deeper realized consciousness, sometimes a mystical state. So someone who realizes such a state identifies with that state, while disidentifying from the human self, from desires, attachments, from the being human, and lives in such state as a refuge, as an escape from suffering. Or one can escape from that human condition by dwelling in some kind of a state of meditative absorption, samadhi. For instance, on the path of self-inquiry, they initiate that inquiry by saying, I am not my mind, I am not my body, I am the witness of all of that. So, these paradigms have not really evolved or have not really changed. And they are incorrect. Wrong conclusions. So the quest for enlightenment is what is intended for us, but somewhere on the way we can get sidetracked, lose the correct direction, because it is such a subtle territory. And human beings are not really evolved enough or were not evolved enough to truly understand what is happening there. And it is really time to come back to reality. Somehow to awaken from enlightenment. As it was formulated. For those who don't want to reincarnate, don't like to come back, by following that kind of path of enlightenment, they will have to come back because they did not do what they were supposed to do, and they did not reach what they were supposed to reach by the virtue of human incarnation, because we have a purpose. It's not ignorance, it's not a mistake, it's not a punishment, it's not an illusion. We have actually a very well-defined purpose for our existence. True, not so easy to reach that purpose, but existence is patient. And coming back to reality is coming back to your body, coming back to yourself. Because this what you are, your body. You just don't understand what it is. You are your body and you are your mind. But you are also more than your body and your mind. More in the sense that you are more than your physical body. And that is the most amazing thing, that I'm not sure even among my students how many are truly grasping it. That self-realization happens in the body and through the body. In fact, it is your body that wants to be self-realized. It wants to be embodied. It wants you to enter it. It wants to stop being empty, vacant, as it was. Your sense of separate self, your sense of me, is not an ignorance, it is divine. It is the same sense of I as the one from the primordial I am, or the essence of the Godhood. It is just individualized. It is the same sense of I as of the primordial I am that's chosen to evolve from within creation. Not just in order to reach enlightenment, dissolve and return to the unmanifested, but to eternally expand journey within the infinity of creation. We exist in order to exist and to evolve and to expand. We seek self-realization not to disappear or to return to some kind of state of merging with everything or with God. And while we lose the sense of our existence as individuals, as me, in fact the opposite is true. We want to reach self-realization in order to come into existence as illuminated beings growing into light. And that's the simple truth. You have nowhere to escape. Don't look inside yourself for any specific state of attainment that will give you such a refuge that you will no longer suffer. You indeed transcend suffering, but not by escaping, but by becoming you fully. And this happens through your body, not outside of your body. It is supposed to happen in your body. That's why it was given to you. So you really need to awaken to that fact, because your relationship with your body and your perception of your body, your preconceived notions about what your body is, that are from your past, they need to be totally changed. For that change to happen, the change meaning of allowing the body to become the vessel of your self-realization. The more you enter your body, the more you merge with your body, the more you embody it with pure subjectivity, the more the spiritual body is born through because it is just not just born in, it is also born through your physical body, the more it will become obvious. Because it is not a philosophy, it is pure reality that you are beginning more and more to experience. Initially, as you are letting go into your body, there can be a certain confusion whether you are feeling the body on a physical level or whether you are experiencing pure subjectivity in your body, but it does not matter. Because the outcome will be the same. As you are surrendering into the body, you are awakening the body to pure subjectivity, and it will become pure subjectivity. It will become your soul. And I will give you a very simple you can make a very simple observation, even if you just, somehow identify more on the body, on the muscular level, and keep letting go from your body, because what you want is to put your body in the state of being, a state of pure rest. But to do so, you need to become one with your body, because the body alone it cannot do anything. You can just perhaps relax in on the somatic level. So if you keep letting go from your body in this way, at some point you can change your focus and see how you feel inside. Somehow defocus yourself from the physical aspect. And you will feel, if you truly manage to let go before, you will feel that peace. You will feel like you are filled with that substance of bliss, so this is why we also refer to it as the path through the body. Because if through the body you are realizing yourself spiritually, not just by entering the body, but through the body. Small difference, but important difference. You are doing both, because you are entering your body, but also through the body. You are transforming spiritually. You are self-realizing. If in this retreat you manage to really settle with your consciousness in the body, becoming one with the body, embodying your body, so there is truly a weight of identity in your body. You are no longer experiencing it from your head. And you go home, and then you reflect what has changed, and you will see that everything has changed. Because you have changed your relationship with your body, that one retreat of a methodical surrender to your body will be more meaningful and more fruitful than your previous 20 years of meditation. The reason why you have come to earth is not to realize universal consciousness, it's not to become merged with God, it's not to transcend your desires so you don't have to incarnate anymore. It's not reaching emptiness, nirvana. The reason why you are here is much more fundamental, and if you can appreciate that, if you can feel the meaning of it deeper, it is in fact much more beautiful. And the reason you have come here is to become your soul through this body. That's why Shiva is helping us, Kuan Yin is helping us. They don't want to liberate us because they do not see us as being in shackles or imprisoned. They want us to become our soul. That's why they are helping us. Freedom from suffering and the bliss that we feel more and more inside, all of that is just a bonus behind, connected to our realization of our primary purpose. Feel how spiritual body is growing within your physical body, inside and containing your physical body, and being also merged with your physical body. That is your soul. Is growing, is emerging, is coming into existence, finally.